Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am back again with Osama bin Laden's issue. Now, I made a video talking about a letter he wrote to America yesterday, and some people shared that after going through that letter he wrote, they are beginning to have a rethink about this man and what they were told about 9/11. Now, in this video, I am back with the same issue, only that this time these men seated on what seems to be a podcast find the numbers of Gen Zs supporting what Osama bin Laden did not okay. Now, this is what's currently trending on TikTok following the Free Palestine campaigns on social media. People got hold of that letter, which was written to America by Osama bin Laden. And yesterday, a lot of content creators were sharing the content in the letter. But this man in this video is finding it very disappointing why thousands of young people on TikTok are saying they are having a rethink or they are rethinking things. Here is the video, and when I get back, we talk more.
What's trending on TikTok right now, this is unfathomable. This is for all these geniuses on college campuses saying free Palestine, is Osama bin Laden sent a letter to America after the terror attack explaining why he did it. Young people, thousands of young people on TikTok now are saying they're rethinking things about Osama bin Laden. They're rethinking things about terrorism based on the letter to America. This is the idiocy of young people today. And if you want to know what's going on college campuses and people can't see the difference between good and evil, bad and good.
There's no memory.
This is it. There's no memory. They actually are rethinking Osama bin Laden, rethinking 9/11. And you wonder why, what's going on with young people and the idiocy on college campuses?
Quite alright, what Osama bin Laden wrote in that letter might be true, but that shouldn't justify what he did. What Osama bin Laden did was wrong and it should be condemned. A wrong is a wrong and it can't be justified. Now, I remember hearing people saying that they are not supporting him yesterday, but they are just trying to hold America accountable for what it's doing to Palestine, which is true because people should be held accountable for their actions regardless, but that still doesn't justify him unaliving people. Let's check out these videos. I will be right back.
So I keep seeing videos where people are promoting Osama bin Laden's letter to America, which attempted to justify the 9/11 attacks. And if you're actually falling for any of that nonsense that this insane, homicidal man had to say, I don't know how to help you. Also, for the people that are doing this that somehow consider themselves progressive, did y'all just breeze over the part where he blames America's tolerance of his separation of church and state and the sexual liberation of women as reasons they want to destroy our country? Regardless, though, the message of the letter is fundamentally evil. It blames innocent civilians for things they have absolutely no control over. It dehumanizes and collectivizes individuals to deadly result. If you're positively citing Osama bin Laden's letter, you need to get your head checked.
Wait, is this satire? Y'all defending Osama bin Laden now? It's not that I'm defending him. I'm not defending him because, like, everything is fucked up. Like, all of this shit is fucked up. But I'm not about to sit here and act like he's just the worst person in the world when America has literally been terrorizing people since the beginning of history. America is literally built on terrorizing people. When what's his name? Fucking whatever the guy's name is that discovered America and found the land, he lied. It's been a lie. Everything's a lie. And it's like, I'm not gonna, like, put yourself in their shoes. Put yourself in their shoes. 3,000 people died during 9/11. 3,000 people. 3,000. Compared to the millions that Americans have been in Palestine? I'm not saying that the 3,000 people deserve to die, because they did not deserve to die. Nobody deserves to die. None of this shit should be happening. But at the end of the day, it's happening and we have to be real about the situation. Like, and then it's like, okay, defending Osama bin Laden, and we're supposed to be defending America for giving them our hard-earned money to kill people? Like, what? That don't even make, like, I'm so pissed off right now. Y'all don't even understand. Like, oh my God, like, I'm so fucking mad, bro. And I'm mad because I can't do nothing about it. Like, what can we do? What can we do? Oh my God, the beginning of history.
Never in my life did I think that the trending topic would be young Americans defending Osama bin Laden. There are many videos on TikTok of people defending Osama bin Laden, and of course, those are the same people shouting "Free Palestine." I don't even know where to begin with rehashing all the reasons why Osama bin Laden is a bad person, but this is the 40th day in a row that I'm reminding you that Hamas is a group out to murder innocent people. Their goal of brainwashing some of you into believing that they're doing nothing wrong is apparently working. Mind you, Hamas was elected by the majority of Palestinians back in 2006, and since 1988, this has been their charter. If you don't see what's wrong with supporting groups like Hamas or people like Osama bin Laden, then you have lost the plot, and that's exactly what they've always wanted.
Bingo card, did I picture Gen Z defending Osama bin Laden, or trying to make him out to be less of a bad guy? The man that killed more than 3,000 people on U.S. soil, right? Like, most of you weren't even alive during 9/11, so why is it now that you're defending him? What knowledge do you possess that is all of a sudden making him less of a bad guy? Like, I know that this is all being drudged up because of the conflict in Palestine and the fact that Osama bin Laden's letter to America was removed from the internet yesterday, and I think it's been on there for like 20 plus years. And in that letter, he cited the U.S. being the reason for the attack because of their treatment on Palestine, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, this man was the reason that we lost 3,000 American lives, innocent lives that day that were just going to work to do their job. Family members that never got to go home, right? If you're an American and you are justifying what he did and you think U.S. is that bad and it's so terrible to live here, then go live in Palestine, go live in another country and tell me what that's like. Because if you hate the country so bad that you were trying to justify what this man did to 3,000 U.S. citizens, I'm really alarmed. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to what Gen Z defends and what they don't defend. It is so confusing to me.
Letter to America has been trending, with the general consensus being, who the frick are these idiots siding with Osama bin Laden? And while it may shock you, this makes sense. Every American tragedy is a horrific event that everybody remembers in reverence and solidarity, until it becomes history. I think the sinking of the Titanic was fascinating. How many movies, books, or films were made on World War II, or like the attack on Pearl Harbor? I know of a high schooler that the other day was like, I just love 9/11, which, like, horrific and wrong, but they think of it as this historical event that brought America together about this tragedy. They didn't live through it, they didn't feel the pain. So yes, obviously no one should be siding with Osama bin Laden. The dude was a terrorist. No, he did not have good points, he was wrong. But before we string up a whole generation for not taking it seriously, we have to understand they have a different perspective. They now have to be taught the history because they didn't live through it.
Apparently, there's a trend going crazy on TikTok with Osama bin Laden, the letter he wrote to America. Now it has been removed because it's gaining sympathy from a lot of Americans from different races, ethnicities. This is absolutely crazy if you ask me, because they're basically saying, like, this guy ain't really that much of a bad guy. He was telling the truth. And yes, it goes and aims towards what's going on with Palestine and Israel and U.S. meddling with the Middle East. And that's why it was necessary for him to retaliate to the United States, basically justifying the whole incident on 9/11, which is absolutely crazy. Because regardless, I don't seek sympathy from our U.S. government or Osama bin Laden. So the fact that people are actually siding with Osama bin Laden is a great deal of disrespect to all the victims of 9/11. That being said, guys, like the video, comment, let me know what you guys think. And as always,
It's not that I'm defending him.
This girl and a lot of the internet lately have essentially jumped off of the bridge of sanity into the Kool-Aid River and are currently scuba diving at the bottom of it right now, just soaking up all that Kool-Aid.
It's not that I'm defending him, but I'm not about to sit here and act like he's just the worst person in the world.
Let me give you a piece of advice. Generally speaking, if someone tells you they're not doing something and there's a but that follows that statement, it's all bullshit. Because What she's actually doing here is defending Osama bin Laden, the man that orchestrated the 9/11 attacks and created one of the deadliest organizations that exists today, Al-Qaeda. What happened here is she read bin Laden's letter to America, a letter he wrote to justify his attacks on 9/11 and make himself seem like some kind of vigilante hero. And she and a lot of the internet bought into it hook, line, and sinker. Terrorist propaganda. Did I mention that in this letter to America, one of the reasons bin Laden provides for his desire to destroy America is that we allow women to have rights? Does everyone gloss over that fact when it comes to Islamic radicalists? If it were up to them, you wouldn't even be able to have an opinion to begin with.
America is literally built on terror people. When what's his name? Fucking whatever the guy's name is that discovered America and found the land.
You mean Christopher Columbus?
It's been a lie. Everything's a lie.
First of all, as far as America being built on terrorism, you do realize that every land, every country, every blade of grass have all been conquered over and over and over again, right? America didn't invent this concept. It's been happening since the beginning of time, before any country existed. Even the natives were famous for this. Unfortunately, it's human nature, and if we start arguing what land belonged to whom first, we will have signed a certificate for every human being on this planet. So let's not focus on the past, because then we will never be able to move forward. I don't know where you pulled that number from, but it's a straight up lie. Plus, you just attempted to justify the 9/11 attacks with said made up number. You did just compare 3,000 to a made up millions, though. You may not have included a but in there, but it still looks like that's exactly what you're saying.
It's happening, and we have to be real about the situation.
Right, and we should start by doing some research, and by we, I mean you, because, to be frank, you don't know what you're talking about. Stop with the genocide nonsense. Israel's attacked, now they're fighting back, and according to you, they're the only country in the world not allowed to defend themselves. Swim out of that Kool-Aid River, come ashore, and I'll be waiting there for you with truth towels and some hot cocoa.
His letter is really a long one, and I read parts of it yesterday. I'm still going to read some parts of it in this video because there might be people wanting to get a hold of it, but they are not finding it anywhere. This is because it has been taken down on both theguardian.com and on TikTok, so people can't find it. I know I'm going to pronounce some of these words wrongly. My sincere apologies for that, but it reads, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, permission to fight against disbelievers is given to those disbelievers who are fought against because they have been wronged, and shortly Allah is able to give them believers victory." Some American writers have published articles under the title "On What Basis Are We Fighting?" These articles have generated a number of responses, some of which have not adhered to the truth and were based on Islamic law, and others, while have not here, we wanted to outline the truth as an explanation and warning, hoping for Allah's reward, seeking success and support from Him. Why are we fighting and opposing you? As to the first question, we are fighting and opposing you. The answer is very simple: because you attack and you continue to attack us. You attack us in Palestine, which has sunk under military occupation for more than 80 years. The British handed over Palestine with your help and your support to the Jews, who have occupied it for more than 50 years, overflowing with oppression, tyranny, unaliving expulsion, crimes, destruction, and devastation. The creation and continuations of Israel is one of the greatest crimes, and you are the leaders of its criminals. And of course, there's no need to explain, improve the degree of American support for Israel. The creation of Israel is a crime which must be erased. Each and every person whose hands have become polluted in the contribution towards this crime must pay its price, and pay for it heavily. Of the prophets, including Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon them all. If the followers of Moses have been promised a right to Palestine in the Torah, then the Muslims are the most worthy nation of this. When the Muslims conquered Palestine and drove out the Romans, Palestine and Jerusalem returned to Islam, the religion of all the prophets, peace be upon them. Therefore, the call to a historical right to Palestine cannot be raised against the Islamic Ummah that believes in all the prophets of Allah, Peace and blessings be upon them, and we make no distinction between them. The blood pouring out of Palestine must be equally revenged. You must know that the Palestinians do not cry alone. Their women are not widowed alone. Their sons are not orphaned alone. You attacked us in Somalia. You supported the Russian atrocities against us in Chechnya, the Indian operation against us in Kashmir, and the Jewish aggression against us in Lebanon. Under your supervision, concert, and orders, the governments for our countries which act as your agents attack us on a daily basis. These governments prevent our people from establishing the Islamic Sharia, using violence and lies to do so. These governments give us a taste of humiliation and places us in a large prison of fear and subdue. These governments steal our Ummah's wealth and sell them to you at a paltry price. These governments have surrendered to the Jews and handed them most of Palestine, acknowledging the existence of their state over the dismembered limbs of their own people. The removal of these governments is an obligation upon us and a necessary step to free the Ummah, to make the Sharia the supreme law, and to regain Palestine. And our fight against these governments is not separate from our fight against you. You steal our wealth and all at paltry prices because of your international influence and military threats. This theft is indeed the biggest theft ever witnessed by mankind in the history of the world. Your forces occupy our countries. You spread your military bases throughout them. You corrupt our lands, and you besiege our sanctities to protect the security of the Jews and to ensure the continuity of your pillage of our treasures. You have supported the Jews in the idea that Jerusalem is their eternal capital and agreed to move your embassy there. With your help, under your protection, the Israelis have planned to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Under the protection of your weapons, Sharon entered the Al-Aqsa Mosque to pollute it as preparation to capture and destroy it. The tragedies and calamities are only a few examples of your oppressed and aggression against us. It is commanded by our religion and intellect that the oppressed have a right to return the aggression. Do not await anything from us but jihad, resistance, and revenge. Is it in any way rational to expect that after America has attacked us for more than half a century, that we will then leave her to live in security and peace? All right, this is really a long letter, like I said earlier, and I'm not going to be able to read the whole letter. So this is part of what the letter is all about, which is creating tension and making a lot of people talk on social media. So are you agreeing with what the man said, or are you agreeing with the Gen Zs who want to hold America accountable for what it's doing to Palestine? Kindly share your comments in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video.